Welcome to another episode of Hair Biz Radio with your host, Zakiyrah and
Mikey.
And the weather out here is getting a lot better than it was before. We're in Atlanta, if you're listening or watching, and the weather has been so bipolar. It has been cold, hot, rainy, snowy, all the things in between. So I'm glad that we are getting some really good weather now.
Good weather to you is warm weather, right?
Good weather to me is like 70s. Yeah.
See, good weather to me is like 80s, 90s.
Oh, okay.
And I just got back we did a little trip to Bangkok and Saigon, and it was like 90, and I loved every minute of it.
Okay.
And the fact that it's getting into the 30s and 40s at night here, I realized I should have just stayed.
Yeah, no, seriously. We're trying to plan a trip to towards the end of the year to do Thailand. So I'll definitely be hitting you up for itineraries. Yes.
Zakiyrah, actually, I didn't tell you something, but I have a little surprise for you for Hair Biz Radio.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you something. It's a monumental moment, guys. It's monumental. If you're watching, you ready?
Yeah. We hit 10K!
10,000 followers
on Instagram. That was in like less than 24 hours because we were just at.
Yeah, we've been scaling up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we've been popping, as they like to say.
We hit 10K on Instagram.
Now we're over 20 on Facebook, and we appreciate all the followers.
Absolutely.
And we need a little help on TikTok, though.
Yeah, we do need help on TikTok. We've been doing this podcast for 7 years.
At least.
Oh,
it's
my
probably
God.
8.
Yeah, maybe 8. I remember when we first started doing the podcast and our backdrop, we were using the photo paper for the background.
Paper was ripped
at the bottom.
Plastic table.
Plastic 6-foot table that's like the epitome of just start. Like, no matter where you start, it doesn't have to be where you finish. And repetition is what makes you better. And so I can appreciate the start from the 444 building and where we started the podcast at and where we're at now, because I feel like both of us have grown tremendously with podcasting.
God. Everything.
Yeah, like the business of podcasting, the front facing of podcasting, interviewing, all the things. So that's exciting.
But our goal this year is to continue to build it up.
Yes.
And, so I'm going to actually double down on some classes and some other things to see what we can do to take this to the next level.
Yep. And then you did say that this is like we were at the podcast festival. Was it the podcast festival? Like
2019.
2019.
This time
2019. Yeah. Learning the craft, learning more information. It was actually a really good time.
Yeah, Zakiyrah and I flew down to Orlando to Podfest. I don't know if Podfest is still around, but
I don't know either.
But we flew down there to educate ourselves, to get some insight.
Yeah, there's actually a podcast summit happening here in Atlanta. I want to say it's in August. David Shands is hosting it here. Yeah, they do it. They've been doing it like the past few years. So it's always cool seeing people like who are podcasting just in one space. But let's get into today's episode. So Today we are going to be talking about basically scaling and rebuilding private label extensions.
Right.
It's been a very long time. It started back in 2014.
Yep.
And we are now in 2025, which has been 11 years. 11 years so far. And as things change, as marketing trends become faded or new things happen, as people come in and out, as teams rebuild, as all the things happen within business, you got to be able to pivot. And so one of the beautiful things about how Mikey runs his businesses is pivot. Like he's not afraid to pivot. He's not afraid to learn new things, hire new people, work with different businesses or companies to accomplish the things that he needs to accomplish. So I think that today's conversation is going to be very good and is going to also help you be more intrinsic when it comes to thinking about what you're doing and how you're building your business. So let's jump right into it.
Let's jump into it, guys. So let's first start off, right? We had an interesting time during the Pandy-Wandy. And private labels, local stores were doing really well. So we decided to scale those up.
Right.
Okay. And I'll tell you some of the mistakes I made. Now, we spent a lot of money opening up a bunch of stores.
How many stores exactly was it?
So we had, at our peak, we had 7 stores.
Yep.
Now we're back down to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Expensive learning lesson. But it was kind of, you couldn't tell the future.
Yeah.
So we basically got all the stores up and running. Most of them were doing pretty well. Like our Greenville store never did well.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a huge mistake. Didn't have our demographic in downtown Greenville. Just big mistake. And that was only store number 2. The other locations I feel like were good. But after we finish getting these stores open,
mm-hmm.
the hair market in 2023 literally fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how many stores I had, what I did, how many try to cut costs. It just wasn't going to work. So I spent 2 years opening. And during the panty, opening stuff was very difficult. I mean, there was
the name, the panty.
There was times that I was in Detroit and I'm like texting my girlfriend and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get out of here because it's almost 6 o'clock and I don't know if I'll be able to find food to eat tonight because Detroit was shut down, not like Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a little crazy.
Atlanta, I don't think actually ever shut down.
It did for a few weeks.
Maybe.
Like
but
they forced us to close our store here.
Yeah, true.
And then I was going to turn it into a gourmet food store / hair store, but my accountant said, don't do that. I will do anything. So then I spent 2 years
mm-hmm.
ramping up the stores. During that time, what I wasn't doing is focusing on our online sales.
Yeah.
I wasn't as worried because the in-store sales were just popping. Then I spent 2 years closing 4 stores, which then it costs money to open them. Trust me, it costs a lot of money
to close them.
Close them. You're flying places,
mm-hmm.
renting trucks, moving stuff, this, that, the other. So 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of last year, I was like, okay, we really need to refocus back where we started. Let's get back to our roots, which was online. And that's what we've always been good at. So I said, okay, I'm going to just start from scratch and start rebuilding. I mean, we have an amazing base.
For sure.
But let's start rebuilding from our base. And what does that look like?
So what were some of the things that private label was doing before that kind of just stopped, that were actually working, but they stopped because there was more focus on building the brick and mortars?
A lot of the SEO work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the SEO work.
Yeah.
A lot of the SEO work, really scaling up the Facebook, Instagram ads,
mm-hmm.
the Google ads.
Yep.
A lot of the email marketing done properly, the
mm-hmm.
SMS marketing done properly, and those are all things I'll talk about. So those are just like some of the basics that we had just running really well at private label. We had teams for everything. Everything was running really well for that.
Yeah, there was a writing team of like we had 30 writers.
30 writers. Yeah. So, we had that was really running.
Mm-hmm.
So, so when I scaled back all of that to focus on the stores, that we lost a lot of the momentum for the online.
Yeah.
A lot of our customers outside of our local areas.
Yeah, that's true.
So we had to, during the rebuild process, I said, okay, now SEO is a long game. It's one of those things. If you just don't start today, it's just never going to happen. So you just have to start today.
Yeah.
So that meant starting to write blog posts again, starting to build backlinks again,
mm-hmm.
starting to organize some of the content. So we started working on that really probably around September, October of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So some of our SEO started coming back. Okay, good, because that starts driving traffic.
Yeah.
Right? You really need traffic to your store before you can do about anything. You're not going to get sales. You don't get margins. Nothing else matters if you're not getting traffic.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, start picking up some of the traffic. I said, okay, cool. Things are looking pretty good there. Build a new content team.
Mm-hmm.
Things looking good. Have a new system that's way better than our old system.
Yeah.
Like, wow. It's amazing. Like after you go through everything and you say, okay, let me do this into today's standards
mm-hmm.
and what I know today.
Yeah. We have a whole podcast on shifting and market trends and how you have to adapt to the market and marketing and all of that.
Yeah, it was big. So next thing was I said, okay, we were using a pop-up. So we use two important components for our marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Our SMS is on PostScript. I really like PostScript as an SMS platform.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other very good options, but I'm just going to mention PostScript. not a sponsor yet of the podcast. And then we use Klaviyo, right? Klaviyo is also awesome if you're a Shopify brand. Also not a sponsor yet. And of course, Shopify. Shopify is actually the perfect sponsor for this podcast.
Yeah, it really is.
I've been on their podcast. They're official. Come on.
We need to talk to Shopify.
Yeah, I'm going to send them this. So with Shopify, they have some really good platforms that they integrate with, right? So I said, okay, we're on the best.
I love Shopify. It's user-friendly. It looks great. Yeah.
If you have point of sale, the integrations, they're always upgrading stuff. They have like twice a year, they come out with what's rolling out for the next 6 months. It's amazing.
Yeah. When I was doing websites and I had clients who were selling products, I just used Shopify.
Yeah, for sure. So next thing is, okay, we're going to slowly start ramping up some more Facebook, Instagram ads, right? I haven't even touched Google yet, even as of today, but that's changing probably today.
Nice.
So, so I have some ads running, but not like dialed in, not scaling, not pushing the needle, right? So as you start driving, okay, get Facebook, Instagram, start warming that back up, right? Warming up your audiences. Then, so let's think about that. That's going to start driving more traffic to the site. You have the SEO traffic. You have your normal traffic that's coming to the site anyways. You have there's many other avenues that you're going to get traffic.
Yeah.
Now, even AI, ChatGPT, we get traffic from ChatGPT. So then as traffic's coming, you understand that 99% of those people are not buying today. Right?
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Right. So that's conversion rate. So if you have 100 people visit your website, 1 buys, you have a 1% conversion rate.
It's like dating. You gotta keep dating to get to the finish line.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you have that. So I said, okay, what's our acquisition strategy for our email and SMS? Now, I was using initially Klaviyo's pop-up system. It's okay. It comes with Klaviyo's system. So for the money that you're paying for it, which is basically, the system already free, kind of free, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I switched over to Postscripts. I like Postscripts a little bit better, and we got a little bit better results. But what I noticed on desktop, we just were not acquiring any SMS, barely any emails, even though desktop's a smaller portion of our traffic. It's mostly mobile. So, everything we're doing, we're really designing for mobile first, not desktop.
Yeah.
So I said, there's got to be a better way. All this time I just countless hours of research of all the new, I'm talking probably literally hundreds of hours of research. When I'm walking for an hour, 2 hours a day, watching YouTube video when I walk, I'm listening, just everything. So I said, okay, the next thing is the pop-up.
Yeah.
You got to have a good pop-up. So I switched our service. Our pop-ups, we've never acquired so many emails and SMS as we have today. You can go see our pop-up. You can go to privatelabelextensions.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's a little different strategy. So instead of just saying, hey, here's a discount, it asks a question first. That's called a mini commitment.
Yeah.
So if your pop-up has a mini commitment first, it's going to perform a lot better than just like, hey, here's 10% off.
Right. That's actually really good. That's a good marketing strategy because it's forcing people to actually stay on the screen for a second. And
right.
Yeah, I like that.
So then our acquisition of email and SMS started getting better. An easy thing to do is to go revisit your flows. These are automation flows in Postscript for your SMS and start rebuilding those. You probably set it up the basic stuff when you first signed up.
Yeah.
Go back and revisit it. Add some more images, GIFs, which are those, images that move. Look at the text. Be a little more strategic. Okay. SMS marketing is powerful. It's not as powerful as when we first started.
Yeah.
When Zakiyrah and I first started SMS back in 2016.
Yeah.
Killed in it.
Oh, yeah.
No one was doing SMS when we were doing it. We were killing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that SMS right now is better than email marketing? Do you feel like email marketing is kind of dying out, or what are your thoughts around that?
Email, I think, still better.
You think so?
I know it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
The numbers.
Okay.
30% of your sales is probably going to come from email marketing.
Okay.
So it's that important. Okay. So started rebuilding some of the flows. I said, okay, this is looking good. Now, using Klaviyo, you have templates and everything else. I said, I really need to dial in my strategy.
Yeah.
My problem was I've worked with agencies before and I was let down, right? And I'm usually let down by agencies. 9 out of 10 times I'll hire an agency, I'm let down.
Yeah.
I'm very upfront with them. I say, guys, I've been doing e-commerce since 2006. I know my stuff. We made the Inc. 500 with no investment. That's because we were really good at dialing in what we do. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do is buy back my time.
Mikey, I'm not even going to say wore 7,000 hats. And now it's like being able to outsource and delegate properly. Like
that's how you're going to really scale it.
Yeah. Would you say you had a delegation problem?
Everyone does when you first start.
Yeah.
Everyone. Because
it's your thing. It's like, it's not going to be done right. I need it done right.
Most things, it depends, right? So like, I feel like I have more of a marketing background. So most things I do, I feel like most people aren't going to do as well within, especially once you get into the segment of hair and in the business. Then you start figuring out there's certain things that it's people way better. Dowie back there, editing.
Yeah.
Dude's a killer at editing. He's good. I don't have time I don't have years to learn how to get closer to where he is.
Yeah.
Much easier to hire someone. You know, then you start looking at redundant tasks.
Yeah.
Send those out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hired this agency. So far, I'm probably 60 days in, probably one of the better agencies I've hired so far. They're handling email. I am having them work on my SMS now to take that off my hands. I would usually do SMS. I would schedule the whole month out. I'd sit there a couple hours, come up with a calendar. Let me bang this out. SMS. I know this thing's flowing for the whole month. All the campaigns are going out. Double down on the email marketing. Email's looking sweet.
They are looking really good.
I mean,
yeah, they look really great.
Like you're not going to, honestly, I don't care what brand it is, your emails are not going to look much better. Even the big brands, much better than ours. Like we really went up to that level.
For sure. And just by looking at the emails that I've seen so far, they look chef's kiss.
So like we had to update that because I know how important email marketing is.
Yeah.
If we are paying money and the goal is to spend a lot more money sending traffic to your site, you have the pop-up, you're going to get the SMS and the email. You need to have the next follow-ups. You need to be looking good.
Yeah.
The timing needs to be right. You need to be running tests, and this is what the agency does. This is stuff I hate doing A/B tests. It's so important.
Yeah.
Right. So like testing when's the best send time. It's this headline or that headline, and start running all these different campaigns and testing against each other, and then you start seeing which one wins. Right. So they're doing well with that. Now, me personally, I started scaling up the Facebook ads a little bit more. Because I need to, okay, now that I feel comfortable, the SMS is firing, email's firing, you know, that's performing well, generating more sales. Now you can start spending a little bit more budget to send more traffic. You'll feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Because more people are converting. Because think about it, if I start spending a lot of money on the ads before I did all these steps, my return on that investment is going to be horrible.
Yeah. So because private label used to do a lot of Facebook ads. And then, of course, as time went on, as they started restructuring and reforming a lot of things, the advertising hasn't been the same. Have you found the flow and groove of how to get back to what private label was doing with Facebook ads before? It'll
never be better than it was. I don't think it will ever, I don't want to say never, but probably never be better than it was pre-iOS 14.5 update.
Yeah.
Because the stuff I would do was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
And now all businesses advertise on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So think about when we were doing 2015, 2016, 2017.
There weren't a lot.
Still only a small percentage were advertising on Facebook, Instagram. We were killing it.
Yeah. Everywhere I turn now, I'm like, dang, I don't want to see all these ads. I should just see ad.
It was private label all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
You know, and that was our ads built to business. We never had like a celebrity in the forefront of the brand or anything. We never gave hair away to like all these people, all these celebrities, which most of these hair brands, when it's like someone famous and you see them, oh, I'm wearing my XYZ brand hair. It was either paid to say that and they give them free hair or at least free hair. Like we never do that.
Yeah.
Like we just don't, our customers are like real. So now we started to scale that up. Now I'm starting to see a really good return on investment on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Facebook, Instagram, we still need to grow it. I'm not even getting into TikTok yet. That's still on the. I
actually think TikTok would go bananas. There's a lot of hair, hair.
TikTok could be amazing.
Yeah.
Google is next step. So I'm about to rework all the Google ads. I'm bringing in a team to help at least set it up. No commitment for monthly. There's the option. So I'm thinking about that. But what I've also been doing is redoing all the imagery on the website. Okay. So think about it. You're sending traffic. Now, it's great you're getting the SMS and everything else, but what about the photos? How do your photos look on the website?
Yeah.
How many photos do you have? Honestly, it's embarrassing. Honestly, this is embarrassing to say. There's a lot of really good products on private label that we've sold a ton of with just one photo.
Wow.
Just one photo. And it wasn't even that good of a photo. I have a professional photographer reshooting all our products.
Nice.
So now when you go to the site, one by one, I have it all organized in a Google Sheet. All the photos, all those have folders linking to Google Drives. It's so organized now, Zakiyrah.
I love it.
Opposed to like how we used to do stuff, right? We didn't know.
Yeah.
Now, my key is I want at least 7 photos per product.
7 photos per product.
7 photos per product. So I'm rebuilding that.
That's typically like, even when I'm shopping online, I always think about, I'm not just shopping, I'm like looking at, okay, why don't they have these pictures on here? Or this is what I'm needing. And I'm always taking nuggets to be like, okay, whenever I'm doing something, I need to make sure that because they didn't have this, I need to add this to this. Or I was shopping for a new sofa, and one of the websites didn't even have like a full description of what I was needing. Like, I needed to see myself buying the couch. So I needed to know, like, hey, what is this made of? Like, how long can this last? What stains does this remove? Stuff like that. Being able to, even when it comes to hair, like your description pages, product pages should be thoroughly filled out, like from top to bottom. And you've talked about this a lot. Like, when you're doing product description pages, you need to make sure that you have photos. You need to make sure that you're putting SEO in the product pages, all of those things.
So that's, redoing all the product descriptions. A lot of ours were about 100 words with like some bullet points.
Yeah.
Now they're like 500 words with check marks, bullet points, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The bottom of the page, I've been building those out. Okay. So a lot more information. So it really extends the page. It's not just product photo, price, add to cart.
Right.
And then some reviews.
Yeah.
Really expanding the page, giving people an experience on the website. Think about the experience.
Yeah.
The other week, Dawi and Kiki shot videos of just some new style videos of just holding the bundles, giving them an inside look at those. So we started adding videos to all the product pages.
Nice.
And you can do all this by building out templates. You can build product page templates on Shopify, product collection pages on Shopify.
Yep.
Actually, now that I remember, a few other things that I did. I rebuilt the homepage of Private Label. I rebuilt the entire navigation menu, which is now beautiful.
Nice.
Okay. Rebuilt the whole navigation. I'm looking at every aspect of, as people are coming to the site, let's get it up to 2025 standards.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff was really hard to do even just a few years ago. So let's use the latest technology, the latest apps, the latest know-how to upgrade the entire visual experience of Private Label.
Yeah, I like that. And so so we talked about SEO. You're going to go into Google Ads. Those are all new things that you're kind of merging into from before. What are like the top 2 things you would say that maybe wasn't working back then that you kind of looked back into now, and now it's like doing amazing? Or was there anything?
Yeah, our email's performing a lot better. Updating the emails, and then just the organization of the site.
Yeah.
So we built out a lot more product collections. So it makes it easier for people to shop and I did it all through keyword research.
Oh, yeah.
Based on certain things people search for. Let me create some extra collection pages for this stuff. Not only that, let me add nice collection descriptions at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Some of our websites now have a collection description at the top.
Nice.
Some of our products have additional collection. They're these circles that have the different broken down collections. So let's just say I created all the collections by style. So you have body wave hair. Mm-hmm. And then if you go to the body wave hair, then there's these circles with body wave bundles, body wave closures, body wave frontals, body wave wigs, mm-hmm. body wave tape-ins.
Yeah.
Body wave now bulk hair coming. All this stuff.
Yeah. I like that. One of the things that I absolutely love about how you do business is that when everyone else is going this way, you find a way to go this way. And I think in business, that's so important because yes, when things are working, you should work them and be in the mix. But then there is also a thing of standing out in business and making your business, allowing your business to grow while it's also being different to give you that slight edge above everyone else. And so right now, while people are thinking about, oh, business is slow or, you know, I can't really build or it just hasn't been the same, you literally doubled down and figured out ways to make it grow.
Yeah, the hair business is still slow here in 2025. Mm-hmm. It's going to continue to be slow, I believe, this year because I don't see any reason why it's going to get that much better this year. There's still a lot of things, you know, financially everyone's working through.
Yeah.
I'm hoping next year it starts to come out.
Yeah.
So it gives me the whole 2025, rebuild every little corner of private label.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually. So as we're doing this with private label, I'm doing it with some of our other brands.
Okay.
So private label wholesale implemented all this stuff. Our SEO has spiked on private label wholesale.
Wow.
A lot of the other things are starting to work. We've actually tripled in the last 3 months. We've tripled our sales on private label wholesale.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. You know, those sales had gone down too. So like, I'm really bringing that one back to life.
And private label wholesale is needed. Like it's a great strategy for wholesaling hair.
Man. Our client, you know, and that gets an interesting conversation, right? So you have to think of, then you get into looking at cost of customer acquisition. Mm-hmm. So a wholesale customer, we have people that will order every single week. Mm-hmm. I will spend more to acquire that customer opposed to possibly someone that orders on private label extensions.
Like one off. Yeah.
Well, our customer return rate, because I was talking to this other ad agency, and they're like, wow, you got like really good return customer. I was like, once you go private label, you never go back. Yeah. So like we have like a 65 to 70% retention rate of our clients. Mm-hmm. And they'll usually, you know, the people that are consistent will order every 6 weeks now. They used to be every 4 weeks. So it's probably 6 to 8 weeks. I've seen a lot of customers. Actually, one of our really good customers up in Chicago, she just started, you know, ordering again. And I think she was working with some other people and they just let her down.
Oh, wow.
And she's been putting in some heavy orders lately. And it's nice to see. Yeah. You know, I don't blame you trying some other companies and whatnot, but it's awesome to see. It's very rewarding to see people come back to you.
For sure. I think that's important too, because it also lets you know that you had great service, you had a great product.
And that's the other thing. Like you guys can do all this stuff to your business and your website and everything else. You better have good service, good communication. You better have your policies and procedures in place.
Absolutely.
You're going to be acquiring a lot of new customers. They need to know. Don't cut the lace if you want to return that wig. They still cut the lace and try to return the wig. Oh,
good customer service is actually very important. There is a company, it's a couch company, and I haven't gotten a brand deal with them yet, so I'm not going to shout them out on this podcast yet. But it's a couch company because we have been looking for a new sofa. And when I tell you from start to finish, the customer service is amazing. Like you can schedule a Google call, like with their showroom team. They will walk you through the different fabrics. They'll walk you through, show you like how to do the stain, the spill test. Like they'll literally take you through the showroom because they don't have showrooms in all of the different areas. So you can see the quality of the product in there. After that, they literally will create your cart for you. They'll send you a link to your cart. You can check out. You have 30 days to change your fabric if you want to change the fabric at no cost. No, you just send back and then they'll send you the new fabric. There's a lifetime warranty. It's like non-toxic products. It's all performance. So literally, if you spill something, it'll come off. Like their structure from start to finish is amazing. And that goes back to customer service. If you're selling a high-end product, you want to make sure that your customer service matches the high-end product that you're selling. One thing that I've always loved about private label is when you walk into the private label store, the girls are getting up. Like they're getting up, they're greeting you when you come into the store. It's not like, hey, what can I do for you? It's like, hey, welcome to private label. Like how can we help with your experience today? And so it's so important that you really focus on customer service, even if you're not a brick and mortar. It can be an online business. Like what is that first email that your client gets? When you're doing your abandoned cart emails, how personalized is it? Are they getting like a thank you card or something inside of their order? It doesn't even have to be a discount code, but it would be beneficial to have a discount code like in that package, how stuff is packaged. That's why I love the satin bags and the tags, and some people use boxes. I just think it's very important that you think about how is the customer journey from start to finish. And if you were a customer of your own business, would you want to shop here again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important.
And it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking about all the stuff that I've done over the last, really 3-4 months at private label, and I still have a whole laundry list of items.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to revisit this topic in about 3 to 4 months. And then I'm going to go over kind of like, so let's just say this was phase 1.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're just starting your business, these are great steps. You follow those steps because it's just like a chapters of a book, the kind of book that you have to read, you can't skip around kind of book.
Yeah.
You have to go like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, because if you try to skip these chapters, your return on investment, everything gets messed up.
Yeah.
You're wasting time, you're wasting money. As a business owner, you can't do that. So you have to go through this series. So I have a lot more to do, and it's going to literally be this whole entire year. I'm rebuilding things, and it's fun. It's like, even though I'm in year 11, I feel like it's
year
month
1.
3. Yeah, year 1, month 3.
I love it,
so,
and that also says something about the business that you're building. It's like fun, like you care about it, you love it.
Oh, I care about
absolutely.
This stuff. Yeah. I'm a little crazy about this.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, this has been a really good conversation because I think people need to hear like business isn't always going to be like you started here and now it's skyrocketing and it's never going to plummet and you're never going to have to rebuild. Like they're not saying all businesses, but a lot of businesses, you do get to a point where you have to pivot and think about the rebuild. So I think it's important that you're sharing with listeners and people who may have businesses within the hair industry or any business for that matter, who can take the story and apply it to their own business structure.
Oh, absolutely. Because, say for the hair industry, we got in 2014. 2014 through 2022, it was just nonstop, up every single year.
Yeah.
But just like the stock market, it can't go up forever.
Yeah, and crypto's down right now. I'm hurting. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, God.
What happened to it?
There's got to be a reset at some point.
At some point.
Be thankful for the ride up.
Yeah.
I feel like we were fortunate. Timing is everything. We were fortunate we got in when we did. It was a great time to get into the hair industry. Perfect timing. I think about my first business. The timing was, I was too early in that one. Everything I was doing was years too early. Selling food on the internet in 2006, selling sauces. People weren't doing that.
Yeah.
That's why people want me to bring it back today. And I'm like, nope, I'm 100% in the beauty industry. I'm not making changes. Even though it's slow, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I understand the market will eventually come back, gives me time to innovate, gives us time to be better, work smarter. And I feel like real comfortable at this point where we are. So...
And the power of sticking with something, consistency and all of the things, it definitely pays off.
A lot of people got out of the hair industry. I see what they're doing other things and hey, I get it.
Yeah.
But when the hair industry starts booming again, they're going to probably try to get back in the industry. But, this might be 3, 4, 5 years they're gone and they think it's just going to be, all amazing again. You're going to have to rebuild the whole thing. So even if you want to take a break from the hair industry, figure out a way to keep everything you're doing consistent for a while so it just doesn't disappear.
Yeah. Agreed. So thank you guys for joining us today, listening to this episode. Make sure if you have not listened to all the other episodes, make sure you go on everywhere podcasts are seen and heard, download the episodes, listen to the episodes, leave us some comments, go on YouTube, leave us comments, let us know who you want to hear from. We'll be having some guests join us very, very soon. So thank you guys for listening, and we will be back soon.
Thank you, 10,000 followers on IG.
Yes.